The New South Burn has it experienced any subsidence?
To my knowledge, no. There's a network of inclinometers are also going, and I have not heard of any problems with the New South Burn.
Because a week or so ago on the blog, they said something about putting more material on it. And that leads you to believe if they're adding more material to it, then there must have been some subsidence.
Well, right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And being that I made quite a few trips, as for what I can see, and they only just set up the ROS to start surveying that New South Burn, but from what I can see, there's no substantial subsidence that has occurred. Naturally, what you may have saw is the indication there are one or two spots that are lower than the rest of it, because the elevation of the sand is supposed to be 3.5 feet, and then they have 2 feet of clay on top of that, geotextile fabric and clay. But there are a couple of spots that's a little lower that they're going to have to add some more sand that you probably saw that they were doing. And I think you're going to see that again, because I don't think it's to the proper elevation. Because as soon as you get trucks starting to compact it, meaning dump trucks are driving on this, you get some compaction, it's going to get below that 3.5 feet. So they're going to have to add some more sand. But I'll say, just visually, there's not been any significant subsidence in that New South Burn.
When you say significant, I'm talking, is there any?
I'm saying that I can't answer it, is there any, because I don't know that, but visually, in riding the site, there's no obvious subsidence. Now, whether it's happening or not, I don't know, but there's nothing obvious from what I've seen in the trips that I've made, and I made quite a few. Yes, Mike?
Yeah, Don, on BC number 2, an observation well, I noticed on the website you've got 0 pressure on it. It was around 52. What's the deal with that one? Is it dropped to nothing? You said you'd be still holding about 50 pounds. Excuse me. That's the one on Sauce Pecan.
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, we were watching that one and saw that one dipping down. Our folks out there had soon saw that looked like that well might be leaking by, so we've had Texas Brine go up there to check to make sure it's still got integrity. Because about the time they started doing the ORW 38 drawdown, that we saw that pressure dip down, and told Texas Brine need to take the pressure down on that well and see if it returns, and it just hadn't come back. So we're having to check to see, make sure that well is tight, make sure it's not just losing pressure through casing or.
Also heard they had some gas coming up around the casing and the neighborhood.
We've seen some, our folks out there saw some, have seen some bubbling, and talking to Texas Brine to get that one addressed.
Could you keep us informed?
Will do.
I mean, we need to get the thing plugged if we can't stop it, okay?
Understood.
And one thing I did forget to mention, I believe everybody probably knows Travis Williams. Travis is DNR's guy that's out here on a full-time basis, so if you see him, that's DNR's eyes in the field.
Yes, sir.
From the last map of the sinkhole and the most current, the most current one shows that the subsidence area was already past the South Burn. But now the new map shows it way past it, and it also shows that the sinkhole itself is just on the outside edge of the old South Burn. So how much growth of the subsidence area have we had from the current one down to the previous?
Okay, on that, if I could, I'll defer to Dr. Hecox, because I believe he has that slide in his packet. That's
Are there any plans right now for any more or W wells to be installed? Any new plans?
At this time, go ahead.
Not at the moment as far as sites picked out, how to be operated. One of the things that is being looked at right now is that determination of the question of water management. What impact would it have if we go to something where we're having pull water to improve the gas flow? And that's kind of where things are at right now, is making the determination on what impacts would we see, what the community's comfort level is to a degree. So that's why we're checking on that, because from a standard oil and removing methane practice, water management is something you do. You see it in shallow coal bed methane wells where they do that up in North Louisiana, where you've got gas pockets that are almost co-located with an aquifer, but even in the deeper ones, they deal with produced water. So that's common. We can see with some alternatives, but we understand y'all that are living there got concerned about, well, what's that mean over the long term? So we're trying to get you some answers that give some, I guess, that we can have some confidence saying this would be the impact or this would not be the impact. And what we get out of that, like with once all the data's in from that, or it could be a 38, the settlement surveys, or whatever, between 1 settlement surveys, and where they're pulling water there, that'll give us some more information to determine how it goes from here.
Now, at well 36 on my property at the Boat Ramp, it's one of the top producers right now, I understand. It's been producing for about 10 months, and correct me if I'm wrong, but no water at all has been removed from that well, right?
If it is, it's marginal, but that's where we talked about before. You see 36 is going gangbusters, 37, no. Now, if I remember right, 49, mediocre, 50, really good. They're right pretty close together. Down to the south where you've got 55, 56, one of them's doing really well and one of them not so well. And we think we're, especially like RW 36, I think they really hit it where they got it screened just right. We know there's a big thick gas column there. It's just right to where the gas is keeping the water away pretty well. But it is tough to hit that perfectly every time, and that's where, like I say, even in the commercial oil and gas wells, the way you make up for that is by, if you are grabbing too much water, you get the water out of the way. And that's what we're looking for, but again, we're not looking to push that until we have some more, we can develop some more information based on what we see from the drawdown tests on 2138. So,
On that first slide, I think you said like 42 million cubic feet has been flared already,
yes, sir.
and you have so many million cubic feet getting flared or vented per day.
About 40,000 a day right now.
So do you have a guesstimate of how much they have left and how long would it take to get all the gas pressure out?
We don't have, we're not putting a number up now. Early on, there were some numbers, and the folks were just trying to get their handle on it, but through some of the things we've seen since putting the ORWs in the community and the pressure monitoring wells, we're still trying to determine whether or not the gas is being recharged or are we pulling from something finite. And it takes time to pull the trend data together to say, does this look like something that's got a finite end, or is this something that is being substantially recharged as we're venting it? And that's still being determined.
So what is the estimate of how many years it will take to just let all this dead?
It's a range. Best we could probably put it right now with what we know now is that it probably will be years. But as far as setting a hard number, that's difficult while we're still trying to determine, is this being recharged or not? Or is it being recharged, or is there half as much coming in as going out? Is there the same amount? Is there a tenth, or it's finite?
Is it a year? Is it a year to 2 years, a year to 3 years?
I might have to defer to the science folks on that. But I think where everybody's coming from is Drew Arlen had a long
The reason why I asked that is because at the last meeting at the Texas Line Trailer, they tried to indicate that the gas volume has substantially been depleted, and that they are closing down all of these ORWs, indicating that probably in the near future, they're gonna be asking that the mandatory evacuation be lifted.
All right, Nick, and I'll give you the answer I have right now, and I don't want to steal any of Gary Heacock's thunder, but until they do some more investigation of the aquifer to see if they actually depleted any, that meaning more CPTs to validate what the original CPT said, meaning if that was a 6-foot gas layer and now it's 3 feet. Until they do that, that question is going to continue to realm. So their plans, Texas Brine plans are to start another round of CPTs next month. Until that information is collected and it's evaluated by the scientists, it's still going to be a question that we can't answer how long it's going to be because there's no data to compare to right now.
What's the CP?
Randy, that's the rod that they stick in, drive it down into the aquifer, measures pressure on the cone as well as the friction on the rod.
I want to see if you